Hi, it's Luke with Auto Darts. Today we are checking out the Gambit from Flux Labs. Let's get going. Flux Labs is one of my favorite YouTube channels. I love the content they've been creating, from all of the shorts to all of the long form content, and they have one of the coolest little warehouse studio setups that I've ever seen. This is the Gambit. It's a blaster they designed in-house to look like a flare blaster, and it utilizes 40 max shells. This is the first product we're selling on the shop that actually uses the 40 max, but it will not be the last. For those of you who haven't seen these before, 40 max is a small air tank that uses a back pressure valve to initiate. So in the back, you fill it up with either green gas or compressed air. Here I've got a can of green gas, which is essentially propane along with some added lubricant to keep the O-rings inside these lubricated. Now, it's worth noting you can get and find adapters to power these up on Amazon and other places to actually use a regular compressor or another form of compressed air, and that'll get you a little bit lower performance. Green gas goes up to about 300 PSI, while regular compressed air can do maybe 100, 150 on a really good compressor, depending on what your compressor does. One safety note, you should definitely check your local laws regarding pressurized air and how those are regulated and where you're allowed to play with them, such as public parks and schools and things like that. So Gambit is built around the 40 max cylinders, and the 40 max cylinders have a nice little screw thread in the front and can attach to a variety of different ammo types. So here in front you'll see I've got a double mega, I've got a single mega which shoots farther, I've got a 3-cylinder hyper, which actually takes 12x hyper rounds in here for a nice shotgun style blast. And then I've got a half dart 10, which is 5 barrels, 10 half darts. Pretty sweet. And then this is just another half dart with only 5 loaded in. Instead of 10, you're gonna get additional range. The 40 max cylinders thread right onto these shells. It's worth noting that these shells are designed by Old Fusion Designs, also known as OFD. We'll have more accessories for this whole system coming from them very soon. But to load these, you essentially just load through the port here. If you want a full load, you can go half load rather, you go vertical, because you're only going to get the gas, and if you want to get liquid in there, which will increase the PSI inside here, these tanks are rated for 300 PSI. I generally find they're just fine doing vertical. Got a nice little lever action that drops open, and then you whip it closed. That's pretty fun. Normally you would probably have multiple cylinders of these, but I've got a few different examples here to share. Here's the dual mega, so we'll charge that up again. We'll charge that up full this time. So that's about the highest load it's gonna get. That's pretty sweet. They're a heck of a lot of fun. Stored gas is a really fun way to play because it's got so much stored power and it's that really nice pop and crack right off the beginning. I've got to play around with these a little bit at games and around the warehouse here. We've had a pretty good time. It's also worth noting there are 2 cylinders that exist out there. This is the 40 max, and next to it I've got the 40 wad. We're looking at also carrying these. The 40 wad is just additional air volume, so it's just a larger tank, but everything else about the tank, the design, the O-rings are all the same. Here, I'll grab a single mega and we'll go through that. It's got a really fun game mechanic because you do get to drop that shell in there, whip it back, and then just fire, and then reload that shell. Kind of a fun action. I've actually seen people go out and play entire games with this, which to me sounds pretty challenging, but it's really a fun blaster overall. The mechanics of the blaster are extremely simple. You've just got a unlock lever up here, which opens up the front half of the blaster, and then you've got a priming lever, which does exactly what you would think it would do. It's just literally poking that hole in the back of the 40 max shell. So it's kind of like a cool skin to a core that runs and powers the heart of it. One note about the trigger is if you ever do have issues sticking or the spring doesn't feel like it's giving you enough force, do know that this has its own spring, so you technically don't even need a spring trigger. It's really just there so you can sit there and do this. Gambit will be live on the shop when this comes up. We will be selling both printed kits for you to assemble yourself or fully assembled, ready to fire. We'll also have the 40 max and the 40 wad, along with all of the different various cylinders and add-ons. So for reference, these are actually from the airsoft hobby, and they've been around for a bit. When they are sold right now, they can possibly include this wad option, which is where you essentially load the wad full of soft foam BBs or whatever it is, and then you drop that in there. But I don't really like the idea of having these in our hobby because we generally are playing a lot closer, and I don't know that those flying out in front of you are a great idea. But I'll go ahead and fire one of these too, just so you can see that operation. That did not work very well. They also have a large ball that they sell with this, but we have opted to not get this part from the factory at all and then just sell the actual part here, because with 3D printing, you can do anything you want. I think it's a really unique blaster. It's really fun. It also would make a great cosplay piece because of how it looks, and nice color combos you can play with. I think it's got that really great sort of flare aesthetic. I'd love to hear what you think on the 40 Max. This is something we've been working on and talking about for a long time. We've had these on the shop for 6 to 7 months now. We've been kind of playing with, just seeing what people are doing with them and how people pick them up in the hobby. I'm less interested in having to use this over and over, so I am definitely more interested in using a hand compressor or a air compressor attachment, so you can do this anywhere in the field without having to keep using the can. The one thing to note, a reminder there, that is if you are using this with a compressor, you will eventually dry out the O-rings, because as the gas keeps going through, you'll get a better seal if you just drop a little bit of oil in there every once in a while. Cool thing about these is that they can be rebuilt as far as the O-rings go. The fuel outlet where that goes comes apart, and you can actually replace the O-ring, and there makes them more serviceable. Really cool, really reliable. They've been a heck of a lot of fun, and we would love to see what you do with them. Again, let me know what you think in the comments of this kind of system and what you think of Gambit, and I'll link over to Flux Labs. We are licensing through this, so they do get a percentage of every sale, and we'll have links down in the description. Until next time, I'm out of darts.